Hello. Welcome,
Good
welcome.
afternoon, and hello to the bikes.
There's definitely bikes in the background. It's motorcycle day. It's nice outside. Thank
Yes.
you for joining Sunday Shift. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, tell your people about us. We are here on another Sunday to talk about another week of GH.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out
Happy Mother's Day to
there.
everyone who celebrates,
Mhm.
and holding you close if you have, for whatever reason, don't have a relationship with your mother. Tanya, how has your week been? How are you doing? What's up with you?
This week has been crazy,
Okay.
but I was able to go back out. It's springtime. It's warm in the Bay Area, so it's bike
Mm-hmm.
time. I went on three, I guess, bike rides, I would say.
Okay.
So Friday was 510 day for those who aren't in the Bay Area. So 510 is the area code for most of Oakland, and then maybe other cities. It just well, anyway, it's known as the Oakland area code. And so
Yep.
on May 10th, we celebrate 510 day, and just all kinds of just organic Oakland activity happens. And a couple of bike rides happened on that day. So there was one that was from West Oakland to Lake Merritt that started at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And a lot of Bay Area, mostly black bicyclists joined that ride. And then there was another one called the East Bay Bike Party, and they do something every month. And that started like at 7:38. Now, East Bay Bike Party is just that. It's a huge mass bike ride, but at every stop they party
Mm-hmm.
literally for like 45 minutes. So when you're starting a bike ride at 8 p.m., you end up getting to the first stop about 9ish, and then you're partying until like 9:45, 9:45, 10. And then I had already gone on another bike ride prior to that. I
Mm-hmm.
was tired. So
I
I
bet.
actually left and then went home. I didn't get home until 11:30. And then the next day there was a bike ride at the same location at Lake Merritt, except it was with little children. And so a
Yeah, I saw
bunch of,
pictures.
yes, a bunch of little children riding our bikes around Lake Merritt. So that was so adorable just to see the little kids. And they all had like little yellow vests. And they say more kids on bikes every day or something like that. So that was wonderful, but I was exhausted for the rest of the day
I
yesterday.
bet.
So, but I
Yeah.
rode both of the bikes. I rode Venus, the electric bike, the one I rode that, rode her on Friday because I was doing the most. I think I did 15 to 20 miles on Friday. And then on Saturday, I took out Charlie, which is the regular road bike, and
Mm.
did 4 miles on her. So, yeah.
That is so much work. I feel like all of my work was behind the screen. It was just like a
Mm-hmm.
very long week of work. Lots to do, lots of, I mean, I'm blessed to have like contract work and all that, but
Mm-hmm.
it definitely felt like, whoo. Um, so
Yeah.
I've just been trying to be more intentional about going out on walks in the morning and
Mm-hmm.
seeing like some nature before I'm at a computer all day. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
That's
where we
good.
are. Um, the neighborhood is very interesting in the morning because I usually, if I take a walk, it will be later in the afternoon, kind of like as the sun is going down, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But this is like early in the morning. So it's a whole new set of people. And my family's from the South, so I love to speak to everybody. And for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, people in the morning love to speak too. So that's kind of my jam. When I first moved to this house, I would like sit on our porch and like wave at people, and people would be like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Well, you're gonna get used to it." Now people are used to it. But in the morning, it was like a mutual, like, I was like, "Okay, I'm about to get out here in the morning more." Now
I
people were very
noticed,
friendly.
yeah, I noticed when I was younger and I was in my whole exercise kick, I would get up in the morning. I think I tried to do like the Oakland Marathon one year. and I would get
That
up
is
in the
not
morning.
my that's not my jam. That's not
No,
my
well, I wasn't doing the whole marathon. I think I did a 5K. But
hmm
anyway, but people in the morning who are exercising, they are literally cheering each other on because we know the struggle to get up in the morning and to motivate ourselves to exercise. So when they see you out there, they're like, "Hey," just to, as a
Oh,
camaraderie
that's
type
cute.
thing
That's cute because
because
I was certainly not even exercising for real. I was just like, I need to stretch my legs. I need to get some fresh air.
it don't
I
matter.
need
Just
to, yeah.
being up in the morning and getting yourself up and motivating yourself, that whole community is like super friendly to
You know what?
everybody.
That's true. You know
Yeah.
what? Now that's inspired me to want to do even more because it
hmm
has been nice. Now we are in Oakland, we cannot escape diss tracks. So I'd
hmm
be like walking up like, yo, it's not even 9 a.m. Why are we playing Kendrick Lamar? This dismantling Drake. This is crazy.
Oh man, that whole shenanigans.
I
It's
was
still going on.
every time I would like be walking and the car would go past me playing it. I'm
Uh,
like, is this too it's 9 a.m. Isn't it too early for hate? But no, it is
nope.
not.
Nope. Not if the music's on point and it's the jam. So
Not when it's that Oakland, before
right. Oakland shout out too. Oh yeah.
that. Well, let's get into GH. I will say that Rap Beef felt more exciting, inspiring, and interesting than GH this week. But here we are. Who is your who is your performer of the week or performances of the week, however you want to do it?
Yeah, I guess the most compelling performance, and it was for me, I guess would be Maura West, but
Mm,
well, I mean, it's compelling her transition to being old Ava, like for real, owning old Ava Jerome in her facial expressions, her jealousy, her just like, but then also the connivingness. I mean, that scene with the pharmacist was crazy. I
I
was
was
just
like,
like,
what's happening?
I mean, just the whole pretense, but the scheming and all of that. I mean, that's classic Ava Jerome, and she's back. And so it was just fascinating to watch that transition, and Mora's masterclass on
I
that.
mean, what can Maura West not do?
Right.
Lord, she's so good.
So I think for me, I think that was the most compelling performance
Yeah.
this
I have
week.
lots to say about Ava later on, but there's nothing but like just glowing things to say about Maura West. Like she
Mm.
is queen. She's queen.
Queen, 100.
Period.
Yeah.
She will make you
Uh,
watch whatever she's doing, and
right.
you
And
will
just
not
want
be
to
able to look away.
just be like curious, but at the same time fascinated.
Hmm.
Just like, okay, what's
Hmm.
going on? There's still, I mean, it looks like one way, but I still think that there's could be something to this that we just aren't realizing. We just got to keep watching to find out. But right now, she's owning the full mastermind scheming up to no good Ava Jerome.
And it takes a really special kind of actress to be able to do that. Like, because it could be easy to be like, ugh, whatever, and just write her off. But it's
Mm-hmm.
more a West, so you're just like, I gotta know. I gotta know what's going on. I need the
Figure it out.
explanation. I need to know what's happening. And I want to watch you do every single thing, every twist, every turn. I
Mm-hmm.
need to see like what you're doing. And I think, we talk all the time about how GH has like some of the best actresses in daytime. And Maura West is like, she's that girl. Like, I mean, what else can you say?
Right. And I think that's what, because we're so compelled to watch and be fascinated in her skill, then it's
Hmm.
really, it's not hard for us to have empathy for her when she has sorrow and when she suffers.
Hmm.
Even though we know full well that she probably deserves it, but we still feel for her.
Hmm.
And, that's the magic of Maura West. So
Truly.
kudos. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, actually, let's hop right into talking about the week.
hmm
Let's go with Sunny, Ava, Natalia. Carly is at the house. She realizes, obviously, this is from last week, realizes that Sunny's off his meds, or something's going on with his meds. We don't, she doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where Sunny called her Carly Corinthos, I
Mm-hmm.
said, Carson up. If you're a Carson fan, that was done for you.
Right.
Like
'Cause-
I was just, my mouth flew open, and then to have Ava be like, no,
no, you meant Carly Spencer, right?
right. I
Yeah.
called Natalia evil Maria Santos. I no redeeming qualities. I am so annoyed by her. Um, she's
Yeah.
good. I mean, I hate to feel this way about because I love the actress. Um, Annoying. And I don't know. I'm wondering if there's something else that we're not seeing going on with her. What do you feel about her?
I actually made a note in my hot takes that I now have to separate Natalia from Ava LaRue because, man, Natalia needs to be smacked. I was just like, and I don't want to smack Ava LaRue. I want to smack Natalia. So I'm going to officially separate Natalia from Ava and just be like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Um, all week, just craziness and just wanting to insert herself. And I see a little bit of Allie Blaze trying to stand up for herself a little bit, saying, you know, the what I do with my personal life is my choice, but she's still being very much influenced by her mom and tore down by her mom. And I'm just like, girl, you do not wake up and walk away from this lady and fire her.
Right.
Because she is way, it's just like, I mean, the nerve of waltzing into her apartment and, like, well, the hotel, and just be like, I just want to make sure I'm not seeing anything I'm not supposed to see. And then be like, what are you wearing to the wedding? Because I don't want to clash. And don't you have a plus one? And Blaze was like, yeah, my girlfriend's going to be, you know, I was like, lady, just the gall and the temerity. And then to find out a little bit of backstory, apparently there's a brother from another dad who has, I guess, quote unquote, more talent than Blaze. Girl, just can't.
Well, something that I have seen kind of be speculated on is
Mm-hmm.
whether or not Natalia, even Maria Santos, has anything to do with pikemen. Because you remember there was, and I was thinking about this too. Every time they were running into each other, I'm like, this is, like as soap fans, we like it could be everything or it could be nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
But every time they ran to get into each other, I was like, what's going on? And he is clearly spiraling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you don't know him, you know the behavior is a little odd. And she's just all about it. And she's like talked her way into his circle and she's done, like I have to wonder because remember way back, and then they dropped it, they were talking about how like the guys worked for a woman.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
You remember? And then we found out it was like Cyrus, and then all of a sudden Blaze showed up on the island
Mm-hmm.
randomly. I don't necessarily know if I think Blaze is in on it, but I do wonder, like, I don't know, that could be kind of interesting,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're going to be bringing somebody else in,
Mm-hmm.
like another family member in,
Mm-hmm.
possibly somebody very cute, possibly somebody for Trina. Uh, like, yeah, I'm interested to see like what Natalia got going on.
I heard a rumor that she's related. She's still like the other husband was Alcazar.
Yes, I didn't hear that, but that was
Mm,
something I was wondering. I was
that
wondering if
was
this was going to
yeah.
be like another kind of one-off family, or if
Yeah.
this was going to be like we're trying to tie it back to history.
I would love to see Ted King come back.
Ugh, love it. Would
And
love it.
yes, and you know, to rehash that whole Alcazar thing. That would be cool. Yeah, so we'll have to see. But Natalia is definitely wiggling her way into Sunny's life, and she's now gotten a ticket to the wedding. So that's going to be even more interesting.
Why did Ava think she was going to that wedding?
I don't know. Again, the
Ava,
psychosis of what is it she's trying to do? She's definitely
Ava,
trying to.
you killed these people family member. Why do you think you're going to the wedding? I think that what is bothering me about Ava, I mean, like, because you named something like she's the old Ava now. The way I'm feeling about it is I don't mind scheming Ava because I'm gonna follow Ava anywhere. What
Hmm.
I do mind is like weak ass Ava. Like, what do you mean you're salty and sad? That's something, you know what I mean? Like, there has to be more to it because what is to it can certainly not be you just want to be in Sunny's inner circle. Like, that's
I
but
mean, yeah, I mean, that is pathetic. And I think going to the wedding is a statement that says that Ava is the number one woman in his life. And so that's part of, I think that would be the only reason I could think of that she would want to go to this wedding.
I can
Because,
see why she would
yeah,
want to go, but like just thinking that she would, and then after she's like, I could pick out a tie, I could be your driver. I was like,
I like that's the desperation right there. Because I'm just like, you are not somebody's driver or anything like that. Why are you? Yeah. And then it seemed like she was almost like kind of on Friday begging to be able to stay, just,
like a little
passive aggressively. Yeah.
reverse psych. No, just
Psychology.
go.
I just like, because again, I mean, she should have been satisfied when he was like, yes, I want Avery to stay. And then she's like, what about me? I was like, girl, the kind of whiny and questioning, begging, like,
That's the thing. If you
yeah.
told me that Ava was like, she was under threat, she was under suspicion, she just wanted the power for herself. Like, if it was something like, let's make her a boss,
Mm-hmm.
boom, let's do it. But if it's this, like this whininess, I was confused about the scene with the doctor, with the pharmacist. I was like,
Right.
is this pharmacist putting it together? Is this the pharmacist that has been paid off to mess with
Right.
Sunny's meds? And does she know it?
Yes.
I was like really confused. I
Right.
didn't get any like resolution from that.
Right. Yeah, like
I
what
don't
the
know.
point of that conversation was. The only information she got was that, yeah, he has more refills.
Yeah. That's why I was like, well, maybe the point is to like put him on notice that she realizes something's wrong with the meds. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
was waiting to see the doctor like call Valentine, like we didn't get that, or like the pharmacist call
Mm-hmm.
Valentine or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's getting weird.
Or his main doctor or whoever. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it's getting weird. Because I don't think the main doctor would be into it or in on it.
Right.
The person who's
Well,
in on
yeah.
it is the pharmacist, the person who like is the person in charge
Mm-hmm.
of the medication.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's getting weird. I did like that Carly kind of went to Jason and was like, they were like, who do you think could be a part of this? And they brought up Stella.
Mm-hmm.
I do love Stella. I loved her relationship with Mike. I like
Mm-hmm.
her having relationship with the family. The actress who plays Stella, she was on Bob Hart's Abishola, and that show just ended. So I do
Mm-hmm.
wonder if she has like more time available and we will see more Aunt Stella,
Mm-hmm.
which I would love. I love her as a character. And I think she is more compelling than Curtis. I think that like TJ, Stella, and Trina are all more compelling characters than Curtis and should be more front and center when it comes to talking about the Ashfords.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. And I want to kind of explore this whole flirtation, which was weird to me, but with Marshall, the way they were like scared of it or like don't want to
hmm
do it or something. I don't know what that was about.
we haven't even
And I
seen
want,
Marshall lately.
yeah, and I want him to come back, and start a war with Selena or Sonny because we know he got it in him.
That's right, because he put them hands on Joey Novak, right?
Right.
Put the paws on him. I remember.
And he has this irrational anger against mobster family. So I want to know why. So
hmm
I want
I
him to come
wouldn't be
back.
surprised if that was like something that the current writers dropped from Chris and Dan, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised about it. But yeah, I'm excited to see at least that portion of the story feels really interesting. I wish it was like the front burner part of the story. I'm also
Hmm.
interested to see how this breakdown with Ava like plays into Ava's relationship with Trina. because they've brought up Morgan a couple times. And
Yeah.
like if you think about it, like Joss and Trina's relationship was able to move past,
Trina's friendship with Ava.
yeah, because of Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they bring Morgan back up and like this whole thing with Ava. I wonder how that impacts Trina's relationship with Ava, and then I wonder how that impacts Trina's relationship with Joss. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot tied up in there. There's a lot that could happen. I think for me personally, some of the problem is that it just isn't happening. I think
Mm-hmm.
that they're trying to wait until the wedding and into sweeps, and we're in May, so we're not being swept. But I think they're trying to like wait to the first part of the wedding. But there's just been so much filler
Mm-hmm.
lately and not enough emphasis on stories that people care about. So
Yeah.
people being me, I can't speak for other people. Not enough emphasis on things I care about.
Right. Because I think Trina has not been part of the conversation of Ava taking over Sunny's life. So I don't know if she's really aware of the machinations that Ava's involved in, and I would really love to hear what she would think about it, you know?
Mhm, mhm. They
So,
do this weird thing with her where they're like, in a way that kind of makes sense, but
hmm
also is a little annoying, which is
hmm
like they try to keep her separate from mob stuff, which
hmm
makes sense in a way, but then it also cuts her off from a lot of the action.
hmm
And so like stuff that she could naturally be a part of, she's not a part of because she doesn't know the mob stuff. Um, I think that that's been a mistake. This is like not about currently what we're seeing, but I think that that has been a mistake along the way of the way they've told, particularly Trina's story, but the young adult story, period. I was
right.
thinking a lot about, especially because we know that, we don't have Nicholas coming back, and so we don't know what's happening with Sprina. Part of the problem was that they took so long to tell that story. And I think that ends up like cr presenting some resentment from people who are fans of that couple to like what could be happening with Jex. Because Jex
hmm
wasn't, and we talked about this a bunch, but like Sabrina was like the show's like flagship story. Like, and it hindered them because it meant that they didn't write them well. It meant that they were always trying to figure out how to like put drama up against them without figuring out how to tell their story, even though we all knew that it was only going to be a limited amount of time that we were going to have Nicholas. Like that was always clear, even from the very
Right.
beginning. And so
Yeah.
they didn't tell that story well. And then it ended up being like, okay, Jex felt like it was fast forwarded when really it just went like the the kind of speed that a couple should go. And I
hmm
think one of the biggest problems they did with Trina, like tying into like not putting her in the mob stuff, with Sabrina is that they should have had all four of the young people working together to take down Esme. So when the sex tape story was happening, the four of them should have been coming down together. Spencer could have still friend zoned her, but we could have still had the foundation of them being in good relationship. Trina could have been like, excuse me, I'm friend zoned, so I'm gonna go be and date Rory, who they brought up this week, shockingly.
Yeah.
But like she could have still dated him. That still could have been the drama, like some cause of drama between Cam and Joss. Because like it could have took them a while to bring her in, but
hmm
like not playing upon the chemistry of those four actors and the relationship of those four actors was a problem, and it put Trina in a back burner that she shouldn't have been on. And I see that some of that is happening now because Jocelyn can't even fully tell her everything that happened with Dex because she still has a shield from the mob. And I'm hoping that what this story does is to break down that shield. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That was a tangent. Sorry. I was like, I started talking about Sprina like it made sense, like in the moment of what we were talking about. It's just like something that had been on my mind. That was in my hot takes actually. Sorry, y'all. This is what happens.
No worries.
Let's talk about Jason and the Feds.
Mm.
So Jagger comes to see Jason, and Carly finds out that like they're working together. What did you feel about them not waiting to see if Carly left?
Yeah, that was a little weird. Like they just kept talking and they assumed that she just walked out of the room and then that's it. I mean, no closed doors, no nothing. So it's almost as if, I mean, Jagger accused Jason of telling Carly, but it almost as if he kind of wanted Carly to get in the mix a little bit. And
Yeah,
so it's weird. And she did. She got in the mix in a big way, going and talking to Brennan. But then,
Carly.
yeah, Carly being Carly.
Just a big mess. But I don't mind it. And I think this is actually like, I know that just kind of getting ahead, Anna's going to check her next week. I don't mind people being mad at Carly. I don't mind people having to check Carly because she's been nosy, 'cause she's been whatever. She's not a perfect character. She's a messy character, and I don't mind that. I don't always need her to be right. And she certainly
Hmm.
was not right this week. That was a mess.
I mean, just be like, yeah, so you know the FBI is after you. I was like,
Hey,
lady.
what the hell is wrong with you? So we find out that Jason, like what they have on him, is that
Mm,
five families meeting that, or they have a
right.
Carly.
Yes.
I was disappointed by that.
Well, I mean, I knew it had something to do with that because that's the only thing that she's done that's been really kind of sketchy and illegal, right?
Was
Other,
kidnapping Cyrus's mom?
well, I mean, I think they, no, I don't think that was, I didn't think that would have been big enough,
No, I didn't
right?
think so either. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, for the FBI. But her taking over the business when Sonny was gone, it
Mhm.
had to be something around that because that's the only time she really played a part herself
Right.
in mob work. And
Hmm.
so I knew it had to be something along that line. Now, the story of, where you pulled Carly into this, I was like, kind of not, because she was always trying to be in the mix. And beforehand, Jason and Sonny would be like, no, Carly, stay out of it. And it's none of your business. Or Sonny doing the whole go upstairs type thing. I mean, he's always been like that with her. And so this is the only time that I could foresee that happening. But to say that, Jason's like, this is my fault because I pulled her in, I think it's definitely Sonny's fault. But, Sonny had amnesia or whatever. But I don't think it was all them because I think, Carly kind of has always been in everybody's business the same way that she was today. I mean, this week, being in the business and taking upon herself to go and talk to Brennan when she should have stayed out of it because she's got two businesses, the Metroport and the, Bobby. So she's got plenty to worry about. Why is she still all in this mob business? Oh, and then plus she's now worried about Sunny. So I would have been, yeah, if I was, well, no, I'm not Carly because I wouldn't have been in the situation at all.
Well,
But,
that part.
yeah, so, but then they had to make it compelling to Jason to want to, well, they didn't really have to because Jason will always come to Carly's rescue no matter what. But them bringing in this whole, well, this is my fault thing, I think is the new writers' attempt to have a really good reason for why Jason would go along with the whole thing. Because he wouldn't have done
Yeah.
that if it was Sunny.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is Jason being shot? Is that the same time of when he tried to escape?
Yes. So
That
when
he got
he
shot
was
during that
trying,
time?
yeah, he was trying to rescue
Brit.
Britt because Britt was being kidnapped by
That's
Cyrus.
right. And then we
And
thought Cameron might have shot Jason.
yes, and then so he was late. He was late to the five families party.
Not the party. Not the party. I think
Yeah.
that what frustrates me, and I said this before, I think that Carly reverts as a character
Mm,
around Jason.
yeah.
That she had been like such a strong, like I'm standing on my own 2 feet. And then as
Hmm.
soon as Jason went back around, it's like, that's my best friend. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. It's like, okay. are we just like backing back on this growth?
Hmm.
And so as a Carly fan myself, I can't speak for other people. I think other people probably don't care, but as a Carly fan, the Five Families meeting was like a moment. She like walked
Hmm.
in like a baddie. She don't know white dress. Even Selena Wu was like, "Okay, girl." Like it was
Hmm.
just like a whole moment. And so to find out that that is what was like took her down or could have taken her down is a little disappointing to me as like somebody
Yeah.
who's like, oh, this was a moment for my girl. Now it's like,
Right.
okay, my girl's got caught up from her moment.
Hmm.
But it also was like she didn't do anything illegal in that, like what
Right.
she asserted herself as the leader of the Corinthos family. But if you don't have anything else that she's done and she is no longer the leader, what are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's no, other than her saying something, there's no evidence that she was directly involved in any illegal activity.
Right.
So it's just, it's a weird piece of evidence because it's not really evidence, it's more hearsay.
And Selena Wu and Cyrus were at that meeting. So are one of them
Right.
working with the feds to like feed the information? Like why wouldn't they also be under some sort of investigation? If you're gonna get
Hmm.
Carly, like how you not getting the other people who were there?
Yeah, that's not something I thought about. Like, who was working with the Fed to get that information? Um, that is a good point. Because everybody that's in that room, if the feds were working on their own, everyone in that room had something illegal going on.
Right.
Cyrus, Selena, everybody.
And
So they
but
should
the
be
other
on
ones
it.
are dead.
Right. And
Remember because
Selena,
Selena blew them up.
yes, I remember. So
Hmm.
at the very least, Selena should be their target.
Right.
And she's still doing illegal stuff with the gambling ring and all that other stuff. Selena is a bigger target, I would think.
Right. It's weird. And then we have Sam coming in. So
Mhm.
weird. It was an interesting like kind of twist that they had Dante say he forgot that Jason and Sonny were like beefing and that Jason was working with the feds because of his medication. That was like I was like, what?
Well, let's talk about Sam's change of heart because
Yeah, we can actually just talk about like the whole Sante angst. Let's talk about all of
right.
it.
I mean, I was again just ready to be like, Sam. My hot take comment was the last person I expected to be critical over a tattoo was Sam. Because I did not expect that. I would think that she was I think she had a reason, I guess, to take care of her brother. But she was, bad girl for a minute. And so for her to look down her nose at Jason's tattoo was really, I was like, that is just like kind of jumping the shark, I think, for me.
Hmm.
But then all of a sudden, all he had to do was tell her, "Yeah, I'm being coerced to working with the FBI," and then she just changes on a dime. It was like, "Okay, so this is different, and now I must help him. I have to figure out what he's doing." And again, I think I can understand why she would change her mind because once she realized that yes, Jason wasn't involved in the shooting. Yes, Jason didn't choose to stay away from his family, which she should have realized if she knew the man that she used to love and had a baby with. That should have, see, that's the problem, is that she should have known that there was some reason that kept Jason away, that some reason that Jason was involved in the shooting, but no, she should have known that he wouldn't have shot at Sonny. That should
Hmm.
have been her internal knowledge, except jumping to all the wild conclusions. And then once he actually finds out the truth, then she's like, oh, okay, I need to help Jason. That was just crazy. But I'm thinking the writers heard us all and was like, you always wonder who they're listening to. But basically, they must have heard somebody say, this is not Sam. We need to fix it because they
Hmm.
fixed it. Thank you for fixing it because I was about to put Sam on my list and I don't want to because I like her.
Well,
So,
Sam is my girl. She's never gonna be on my
right.
list. I'm always gonna be
But she
mad at
was
the writers about her. And
she was
never
on
at
my list.
Sam. Sam, you're
Yeah.
perfect. I love you. Um, but I think part of the issue is that for Sam, she
Mhm.
never has a story. So even when I read like even when I read the whatever, it's like Sam is worried. Sam is concerned. Sam is whatever. So we don't have Sam being out with her friends, Sam spending time with her kids, Sam like being able to be a three-dimensional person, like a full person, aside from being like running up on Jason and being a nag to Danny, and then like not reminding, like this is another thing I think the show doesn't do, which is like the reminding of why these things are happening. Sam is jumpy about Danny because she thought Danny almost died in that bombing that put Lulu in a coma. Like that was like the turning point in her relationship with Jason. She ran down there. She thought that something was wrong with them. She thought Danny was in the bar. Like as a mother, as a parent, that's gonna change you. That's gonna flip you. That the danger that felt like very abstract is now like present in your life. And they have not done a good enough job for me as a Sam fan of like explaining why she feels that way. Even now, she wants to help Jason with the FBI. I wonder how she's going to feel when she finds out this whole thing was about Carly. Because they have continued to tell the story that I've loved Carly and Sam together, like in their friendship that really happened around Jason not being alive. And then like kind of grew when Jason came back and Carly was like a J Sammer. Um, like that friendship I think has always been really special because I like both of those characters when they were at odds and when they were friends. But they haven't written a really great friendship for these two. They haven't written something that's like compelling to tell a story of why this is a give and take for them. And so now it just feels like all Carly does is take, take, take from Sam's family. And she would have every right to feel a way about Jason staying away because of that. So I don't know. I feel like they need to do a better job of like writing many, many things for Sam to feel now she's upset about Dante. Now she's mad at Jason. Now she wants him to quit his job. Like it's too much when we don't have a balance of her being able to be a full person otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the whole Dante quitting the police department thing, that was shocking to me. Over
So
a simple
random.
I was just very random. And I didn't think it would stick and it didn't stick. And so, all the emotions around it was kind of like an up and down roller coaster, which seemed unnecessary. Like
Yeah.
it seemed like a totally unnecessary scene. So I didn't really like, I mean, obviously I like, Sam and Dante's dynamic and all the scenes that they have together. But it just seemed very unrealistic to me. And it didn't seem like it even should have happened. And I don't even understand why it happened.
What did
I
you
mean, I
feel
understand
about
it.
what did you feel about what Anna said to Dante? Basically, like, if you're not a cop, then your son's gonna drag you in.
Right. I didn't believe that either. I was just
It
like,
was weird.
I was like, no, Sonny's not going to drag him in. I mean, he came into town to investigate Sonny. And so I don't think he would ever fall into being a mob enforcer or switch sides the way so conveniently the way that Dex did. So yeah, because Dante's a grown ass man. He's been in his convictions for a long time. He's not just gonna flip the script just because he's
Mm,
not, just because he's not a formal police officer. I would have expected him to go into, the what was it, the private investigating thing with Sam at the very
right,
least, but he was never going to start working for Sunny. And the
right.
fact that she convinced him that that would be the case was also kind of like, I didn't believe it. So I just
No.
like, I don't understand the whole point of that whole storyline.
Hmm.
It would have felt better to me if Dante stayed and then we saw Sonny literally asking him to protect him or to hide evidence or to get rid of Dex or, anything. I would have appreciated if instead of thinking that, oh my God, I need to quit my job, Dante was like thinking, there's something really wrong with Sonny, and we need to figure out what that is. Because my dad would probably have never done that
Mm-hmm.
because we have this kind of dynamic right now. So, what is wrong with my dad that he's acting like very weird?
Right.
And we need to investigate that versus I need to think about whether or not I'm going to quit my job. Because that just didn't, it seemed weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed a distraction and an unnecessary distraction.
Yeah,
And it's,
yeah,
as
sorry.
much as we want, Sam and Dante to have a story, I didn't think that was a good one.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
I think part of it is that um Sam and Dante or um Dante wouldn't ever be dragged into Sonny's world because Sonny doesn't want his kids in his world that way.
Right.
He is trying to protect all of his children from being in his world.
Mm-hmm.
And even like this idea, like the PCPD is not actively investigating Sonny.
Right.
So what are we talking about? It was like a big reach. I get it. Like I said, it's so clear that they're trying to like rewrite the story or reroute relationships, but this felt very heavy-handed. It didn't make any sense. And then
Mm-hmm.
for Anna to like ask Dex what was going on, I was like, you just asked him, you just convinced Dante to come here or to stay, and then
Mm-hmm.
what you're like planting doubt in like a new recruit's head, like that kind of didn't make a lot of sense to me either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Because it felt like she had already resolved the issue and now she's planting a seed to continue the issue. It didn't even
Hmm.
make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Speaking of Dex, what was that uniform? I was like, what is Dex wearing? I was like, what's happening here? This looks like a Boy Scout uniform.
Right? Um,
Okay.
Shout out to Boy Scout changing their names. But
Oh, did they?
yeah, they changed their name to Scouting America
Oh, oh, good for
instead
them.
of Boy Scouts
Good for them.
to show
Um,
inclusivity.
yeah, good for them. That's cute. Um, I thought that the Jex like little scene was really cute. I was like, put them back together. We don't have time to be playing. Give them something to do together. Them not being together while they're smiling their cheeks off of at each other. Um, just like breathing in each other's direction. Stop it. Just
I have to admit, Dex is very charming when he's being, I guess, romantic or showing that he has a crush on Joss. I was like,
hmm.
if I was a little girl, I'd fall for that too.
Yeah.
Very charming young man.
I have liked his relationship with everyone. No
Right.
matter how bitter I was, I liked his relationship with Sunny.
Mhm.
I want to see more of him and Chase together because they both have that very similar like
Mhm.
puppy dog eyed, like sweet, gentle person kind of
Wholesome,
vibe.
tough
Yeah,
man.
wholesome toughness vibe. So I
Right.
do want to see them be besties. Dex has won me over. I was skeptical of him before. I kind of only really liked him because of Jocelyn,
Mhm.
but despite how much I hate the cop thing, just as a character, he is starting to win me over. And it took a lot for a young man who I had no attachment to win me over. So good on
I
Dex.
Yeah, I felt that seeing that with Sunny just being on the sidewalk and them jogging up was hella creepy. I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, it was creepy.
it was creepy and random and ominous.
Mm-hmm.
Like that GRE word. Ominous. It was like that was just very, it like ugh, to see Sunny just randomly in a park and they're all running up against him and they're all kind of running against, doing some exercise and they're right by him and he's looking at Dex and Dex is looking at him and it's just like
Mm.
I felt like something was gonna pop off, like he was gonna pull out a gun all of a
There you go.
sudden.
It was, and like he is wild enough where he's just like not stable enough. He just like starts waving a gun at the new recruits.
Right.
Like, what's going on, Sonny? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we also, I mean, we brought up Ava thinking she was gonna go to Chilean's wedding. We have more wedding plans. We have Lois reconnecting with Jagger. We have Blaze and her mom like fighting about whether or not who's who's gonna be at the wedding. I thought it was weird because we see Blaze and Christina out together all the time. So what are
Exactly.
we talking about?
Exactly. I
Uh,
mean, the reasons that Natalia gave though were all kind of true, except the fact that she seems to think that Blaze being gay would be against the brand. Cause like who was it who said it? Um Brooklyn. Brooklyn was like, no, the fans would love it. They would, and
yes.
I was like, yes, that would. That would even make her even a bigger star. And so, yeah, it's true that Brooklyn attending an event is not just not Brooklyn. Blaze attending an event is not just Blaze attending an event as a family member. I mean, it would go
Hmm.
off like it would be all in the news columns, and they'd all want to know who she was with and all of that. So to that point, Natalia is correct, but everything else she's doing is just like, lady, stop.
I also was like, why would Christina need to be Blaze's plus one and not just have like her own invitation?
That's true.
It was just I didn't understand. I was like, what's going on? But I did want to talk. I was put off a lot by the Gregory Chase Finn scene. Now I will say I gasped when Gregory started reading Finn down.
Right. That was like the first time too, like because before, like when there was the confrontation, it was still more of a yeah, I know what you did, I kind of understood, and you're my son, I love you, blah blah blah. But he was just like, oh, how dare you talk to me about wedding etiquette when you were up there? And I was like, everybody was like, ooh,
He said, "When you slept with my
you
wife, and
know,
I was wondering where you
you
were."
were.
Read him down.
Right.
Um, Also him going straight to Alexis. I was like, are Finn and Elizabeth not together? Did they break up off
Again,
screen?
just
What's
as
going
I'm
on?
saying, we're all thinking it. We're all like, did they break up or what? And it just needs to, I need it to happen formally so we can all feel better in ourselves because we all hated Fizz. And so we all deserve the breakup. We deserve to see the scene where they're
Of the
not
breakup.
together. Yeah, we deserve it. Y'all need to give us that.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
Hmm.
Um, but this idea of them having to like manage him was weird. I didn't like it. Um, I like I said, I know that for me it's a little bit different. I'm like dropping stuff at my table. It's a little different because I had a friend who had ALS and he was just like everywhere. Like he was out here in these streets. He was giving speeches. He was speaking in front of Congress. Like he was out here. And when he was tired, he
Right.
was tired. And we said, great, like let's get some rest. And so this idea that like Gregory wouldn't know better and wouldn't know how to like say if he was tired, them having to like manage him. I just was put off by it. And as I like I said, I don't as especially as someone who um especially as someone who had someone who that they love, who I
Mhm.
like taking away somebody's autonomy, talking about them behind
Mhm.
their back. I was very put off by it.
Yeah, but it's hard because before my mother actually passed away, I mean, there was a point in time where me and my brother were just, trying to grapple with,
Mm-hmm.
how
Mm-hmm.
to help her and how to best help her. And when it becomes a point where the parent is no longer able to take care of themselves. It's a hard thing to navigate. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt that they were wrong, but I felt empathy because I kind of knew
Yeah.
what they were going through. Um, But yeah, just but I wondered if I felt they were wrong because I saw Gregory's side of things more so than, if I had not seen his side of things, I probably would have felt that they were a little bit more right. But at the end of the
Yeah,
day, this is a very, a lot, there's probably a lot of listeners out there who are going through the same thing. I think there's a period of life where they're calling it the sandwich, where you're the adult child of parents that aren't able to take care of themselves. And so
mm,
you're taking care of not only your parents, but also your own kids. But being at that age where you need to be kind of a caretaker for your parents is very tough
yeah,
because you want them to be the vibrant parent, the adult that you've grown up with, and then to see them as, an actual person, a human being that's suffering and trying to navigate that is a very tough thing, which is, I kind of appreciate GH bringing this kind of storyline to the forefront. Um,
mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Gregory is as a character and Finn as a character is just like blah. But it is a compelling story that needs to be told because a lot of that's the thing is that you are not trained for this. When you grow up, there's no class telling you, okay, so once you hit a certain age, you're gonna have to start taking care of your parents, and this is what you need to do. That's not done, and so it's hard to navigate. I think every generation probably has to deal with it. And
Mm-hmm.
so to be able to have this story being told is probably very helpful to a lot of listeners and watchers out there.
I think that that's right. I think
Mhm.
um if it was just so I think it would be different if we saw Greg because we don't see Gregory as a doctor anymore. So
Mhm.
if we would have seen him going against his doctor's orders, like if his doctor would have been like, you shouldn't be alone anymore. I
Right.
actually wasn't really bothered by them being like, we don't really want you to, like that didn't necessarily bother me. I think that what bothered me was the like, we need to tell him he can't come somewhere. That was
Mhm.
the piece. Cause I was like, hold up. Like let this man like say I've just had that same experience where people have like were whispering about my friend, like, okay, we gotta make him do this and make him do that. And I was like, hold up. No, we don't. We're gonna ask him what he wants to do. And
Mhm.
basically he was like, yeah, this is how I'm feeling. I would love to like do da 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 da. Da. And it was all the things that people were like behind his back,
Mhm.
like talking about how he should be doing what he should be doing. So I agree with you that that does happen. I just would love to see Finn, especially as a doctor, step up in that role more. That's like,
Mhm.
okay, how do we talk about this? How do we do this the right way as opposed to just like the way that we see people doing it? How do we
Mhm.
um yeah, I,
But
I would have
yeah,
liked that.
we've already established, I think I've heard somebody say, or at least Fenn himself say, that I don't have the best bedside manner. So apparently that extends to his own family.
Yeah, yeah,
Because he's not as
yeah,
empathetic to patients as people would like him to be. Because I think
yeah.
he's mainly a researcher, not so much, like a medical disease researcher versus an actual doctor. I think that's his temperament is to
Hmm.
be that researcher versus, caring for patients.
Yeah.
Um, so, I
Well,
mean,
Chillin' wedding starting next week. We shall see. I was happy that Alexis could hang with him. I think they should have planned that anyway instead of having it be
mhm,
a mess. I do wonder what this means about Finn's sobriety, if we're gonna see a story around that.
mhm.
Um,
What
so
was that? There was something that he was looking at on his phone.
looking for an AA meeting.
Oh, he was looking for an AA meeting. Okay. Because I
Hmm.
couldn't quite see. But
Yeah,
yeah.
just looking for an AA meeting. Surrogacy story. Christina, so Alexa said something about like the my baby, like Christina letting it slip, and um, I was like, have TJ and Molly heard her say that? We at least have not seen TJ and Molly hear her say that.
No.
Everything that we've heard from TJ specifically is about like how she's taking care of her body
Mhm.
and whether or not she should be around her dad.
Right.
That's what we've heard
But
from TJ.
yeah. So, and it was funny because Alexis bringing it up was like the first scene, I think, on Monday. And I kind of felt like she didn't actually. I felt like there was a scene missing or something, and maybe
I
I
think she
missed
said
it.
something like "my baby," something, something,
I know
something.
she said it,
Yeah.
but it felt like I felt like Alexis said something or whatever. It was almost like it was mid sentence. But in
Mm,
any case, I'm glad that she did finally say something because she's just been looking at Christina whenever Christina would make a reference to the baby being hers. And so her finally confronting her on it, but I still think she backed down a little bit too much.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm on um Diane's side. Like, let
Oh
them handle
yeah,
that
stay out of
themselves.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because I mean, it's like when you said something to her, and then like, do you think that it's gonna be different now? Like, what do you think? Like, I'm not. I wasn't really glad she said something because I'm like, what does this mean?
Right.
And I do agree that like when she's with Molly, it's all coddling, and when she's
Hmm.
with Christina, it's all like you need to do this and you need to do that and you need
Critique
to
and
yeah,
yeah,
it's all of
very
that when
much
she's with
critique.
Christina.
Always. I only meant that. Well, I'm glad that she said something because I wanted Christina just to be aware of it.
Mm,
But yeah, you're right. Diane was right. She should have stayed out of it because she's basically in the middle of two rock and a hard place. She's gonna piss off one of them.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I do agree with you. I could see her saying something once like, "Oh, did you hear yourself say my baby?" But like,
Right.
I don't think that it was wrong that she brought
Mm-hmm.
it up in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder what it meant for her to like keep harping on it.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's constantly making the choice between Christina and Molly, and it's always Molly, it
yeah,
seems like.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But yeah, I think that there was nothing wrong for her to be like, my baby? Huh. But like the I was like, girl, okay, we got it. um, we're flying through because so much didn't happen. Drew, let's talk about Drew and all his women. And by all his
Oh,
women, I mean Nina, I mean Jordan, and I mean Willow.
Willow.
What's going on, Drillo?
And it's not just us noticing, a lot of the audience is noticing. And so, what does that actually mean? Is he doing that on purpose?
Or are they just like Kimin? Because you remember, you know who used to have inappropriate Kim was Kelly Monaco and Tyler Christopher. So I'm like, is this just like inappropriate? Because you know what? Cameron Matheson has a little bit of that same inappropriate Kim with Amanda Setton, who plays Brooklyn. So if you
Mhm.
notice, we don't really get a lot of Drew and BLQ scenes. So I don't know if this is just like awkward, like unfettered chemistry that he can't stop himself, and then like Katie, like just the woman who plays Willow, just like lights up with him. I'm like,
Right.
wait, what are we watching?
Exactly. And then, yeah, we
I mean,
all,
it would shake up Milo a little bit, I guess.
yeah, that would add just, that much drama. And then, like we said, we don't want Jordan to be caught up in the middle between Nina
No,
and Drew.
not
We
interested in it
want,
at
we
all.
want, we want better for Jordan, but unfortunately, Ryan just seems to.
Ryan,
Drew,
listen, Drew Lavery, he's
Drew
in
Lavery,
full Drew Lavery mode.
he is. He's gonna have all the women sprung if you don't. He's gonna keep it
Rein
up,
it in, you two.
rein it in.
Him and Nina like making eyes at each other across the absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right.
Leave Jordan alone. First Sunny trying to give her money, then Drew leave Jordan alone.
Oh, and the way Sonny was looking at Jordan at one point, I was like, "What?" 'Cause he's like,
Sunny looks
he's
at her
like,
like that all the time.
he was like, "I got other plans," and he was looking at Jordan. I was like, "Stop."
The cast is just kimming all over the place, okay? Because we didn't even talk about, we kind of started talking about it, but we didn't even talk about Carly going to visit Brennan.
Yeah, that
I
was.
said, if you don't get out of here, sir,
Brennan is an attractive, yeah. white man. I just
Talking
like,
about it's charming Carly into telling him about Donna's game.
right.
Carly, get it together. Get it together, girl.
I don't blame her, but
I don't either. I don't either.
but
He was like, I
yeah,
was only gonna lightly kidnap you.
yeah, because we were gonna have some fun.
Uh, mess. A mess. Look at us going. Anyway, so Drew, mess.
Drew is a hot mess, and he needs to stop.
He needs to stop. He
But
needs to rein it in. So, but he is doing a lot to like try to bring Nina and Willow together. And I
hmm
will say yet again, being away from Sunny's character does wonders for Nina.
right,
Wonders.
she's definitely a lot more tolerable.
Like night and day.
Right, and she's less obsessive over Willow than she
Mm-hmm.
was when she was with Sunny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
The
so
scene that scene actually made you feel like, oh, I kind of hope she gets a relationship with her daughter. She
right.
had the moment. She was like, okay, buckle it in. And then she went to go talk to Valentine about it. It
hmm
felt like, oh, okay. Like I hope she does get this get the chance to have this relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, being away from Sunny has done wonders for her character. We'll see what continues to happen, but
hmm
she's better. Um, Lauren, oh, go
Yeah, and
ahead.
then I respect her also recognizing that, what is good for her, what is a good relationship for her and what isn't,
Hmm.
right? And that started with, finally realizing that Sunny wasn't going to get back together with her, but also realizing what Ava is doing. And so she's just kind of opening our eyes about, okay, these are actually not healthy relationships that I've been obsessing over or being involved in, and I need to let that go. And then I also need to let go of stalking my daughter. So, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
and in that sense, Drew has been good for her.
Yeah.
So,
What a mess. Um, Laura and Heather. Laura, get it together. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I was Jordan. Don't do this.
right. It's like, yeah, I'm glad that Jordan broke down the political ramifications. Because,
Hmm.
yeah, Laura does not need another recall movement.
I mean, it's also the retcon and trying to pretend like the only bad thing Heather's ever done was be a serial killer.
hmm I mean, just her having remorse, I don't think is a good enough reason to investigate whether her sentence could be reduced. Because I'm sure a lot of criminals, once they're in jail and then they're getting their life taken away, they do feel that remorse. But that doesn't mean that their sentence is. Well, again, we don't want them. We don't want people to be used in the prison system. But again, it just doesn't negate from their guilt. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with all of this. I mean, you know how I feel about prisons and police, but
Right.
for me, I'm just like, this is why are we using her time this way, and why are we redeeming Heather? What is the purpose of this?
Mm-hmm.
And I sometimes I feel like GH doesn't know how to. And I don't know if it's just because people are so talented and you don't want to lose them, but they don't know how to have short-term villains who come in and out. You know what I mean? I actually don't need Heather redeemed. I don't need Cyrus redeemed. Let them be who they are. Let them pop up when we need like a big bad. Let them leave when we don't, and let that be what it is. You actually don't need to have these redemption tours for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then to put Laura at odds with every single person who's been terrorized by Heather is wild.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's unnecessary.
Right.
Finally, Vanna. Mm. Oh, Vanna. Felicia was me. What I loved about what Felicia said to Anna, because it was like she saw her girl slipping, like, oh no, you
Mm-hmm.
really love this man. And she said, I wrote this down, you see each other with perfect clarity. The only difference is Valentine likes what he sees and you don't. Mm.
Mm.
All right, Felicia.
Very on point.
Very on point. I
Points,
mean,
yes.
I miss Vanna. I think That chemistry is crazy. I am interested to see what this new iteration of their relationship will be, of this kind of cat and mouse spy versus spy game. We've had them on the same side of the spy game for so long, and now we're gonna have them on this opposite side of the game. But like we know, like Anna said, I love him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We loved each other. That doesn't fade away. And we have also seen, for people who are Anna fans, we've seen Anna in these like contentious, messy relationships with like shady men in the past. And it doesn't change the chemistry, and it doesn't change the ability for them to tell a really good story. So I'm interested in seeing what the story will hold for how they interact with each other.
Yeah, me too. At the same time, I mean, Valentine might love what he sees in Anna, but he's still using her.
Yeah.
So,
Evil teen, as you've called him.
evil teen. Charming teen and evil teen.
There you go.
He's got it all.
He does. Well, that's the stories for this week. Do you have any hot takes? I think I've said all mine.
Um, yeah, let me see. Do I have any? I was like, I think I was like,
My
before
hot
I
take
decided, it was
is
like,
be better
oh,
as a story, as a show. Be better.
yeah.
I don't have
Yeah, I
any.
just, the only other thing I had was I think Ava LaRue is trying to go down as bitch mom of the year. And then
That
I was like, what the heck? She can't even call herself queer? I mean, that,
was
I
wild.
was like, please don't call yourself that. I was like,
That was, girl, get out of here. Ugh,
yeah,
terrible.
terrible.
I think that they should have just had her play Momager and not like, even if she was to be like, even if she said, I think the like research shows that if you are a queer artist, then da 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 da, like have her be like kind of quote homophobic in that way, would be like, I don't care what you do in your personal life, I love you anyway. I think that would make her a more palatable character. But for me, like I said last week, it feels like we're probably going to see Aiden going through something. In 2024, we actually don't need to see like this kind of coming out story that includes all of this like people not accepting people. That I'm sure, I know that happens. I know that it happens. It doesn't have to happen on our soap. We get to choose the stories that we tell, and I wish this wasn't the story they chose.
Right. So
Mm.
yeah, Brian Lavery needs to tone it down, and so does Natalia. She needs to tone it down.
Have they seen each other? Have they been in any scene? They haven't been in any scenes together, right?
No, I don't think so.
And neither have her and Finola, right?
No.
Hmm,
Hmm.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we don't want you to think too much of AMC over here.
Right.
But I'm still gonna think it.
Yeah, and then I also wanted to see what kind of charm Drew has with Natalia. If he has like 10 women sprung on him, that would be hilarious.
As long as it ain't Jordan, give my girl somebody else.
Ah,
Oh, speaking of, so I was like I want Bennett and Jordan. Da, 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 da. Then I saw that spark between Bennett and Anna. I said, Finola, rein it in, ma'am. Okay. I know you can't help it. You just got indiscriminate chemistry with everybody, but don't be pulling no Cameron Matheson over here. Rein it in. I know
shout
you
out to
can't help
Bennett
it.
using the recruits to help Anna move.
He
Yeah.
is very handsome.
Yes.
They could also bring back Andre
Hmm. They can bring back a lot of people.
and Sean. Just
Hmm.
like bring it back. Let's fill out Black Hospital over here.
Yeah.
Uh, let's get into next week. Um, Previews. Monday, Anna warns Carly. She's like, "Girl, you messed up this investigation. Get it together." Nina and Willow have a warm moment. Jordan has some unsettling news. Gregory encourages Tracy to attend the rehearsal dinner. Michael and Sasha reconnect. Don't cancel me. I really liked Michael and Sasha when they were together.
Yeah, maybe that's the triangle we need to see.
Michael and Sasha was my favorite, is my favorite of Michael's relationships. Tuesday. Anna goes on a date with Valentine. Gregory and Alexis give each other good advice. Danny has a request for Jason. Drew receives a business proposal proposition. Can't talk today. Nina draws a new boundary with Ava. Mm.
Mm,
So it looks like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday all are Brooklyn and Chase wedding days, day 1, 2, and 3. So Wednesday, Tracy gives Brooklyn something that used to be Lila's. Jason surprises everyone. Christina and Blaze are taken aback. Jocelyn meets Geo, Brooklyn's cousin and a talented violinist. I do not need this boy looking at Jocelyn. The Lulu Spencer treatment for Jocelyn is unnecessary. Let's give us Jex and let's move on. um, Thursday, Gregory struggles a bit during the ceremony. Friends and family gather at the Metro Court, ready to celebrate the happy couple. And finally, Friday, Brooklyn and Chase's wedding festivities continue. Sam ropes Spinelli into a scheme to help Jason. We still haven't had a Spinelli Jason scene.
right?
Finn grapples with his concern for Gregory. Christina witnesses another side of her father. I feel like this is light on spoilers. I do wonder if we're gonna have like more stuff happen at the wedding because if
Mhm.
you remember when we had the stuff at the Quartermains when the hook first started and got Ava, like we didn't know what was happening. They just had very vague spoilers. So I do wonder if there's gonna be some big blow up at the wedding, whatever,
Mhm.
whatever. So yeah, that's this weekend next.
Hope so, because we're almost at the end of May and we haven't been swept yet.
And we have not been swept up dusty as hell.
Mm.
Uh, all right, y'all. Well, this is a kind of short episode because we didn't have much to talk about, but
Right?
let us know what you feel like in the comments. We love talking to y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell a friend about us. And go listen to some of Kendrick Lamar's old work. Because it's been really good. I'm about to listen to Bitch Don't Get My Vibe as soon as we get done.
All right.
Um, as I upload the episode.
Okay.
Um, so peace out. Talk to you next
Peace
week.
out.